On the 18th of August in 2010, Pope Benedict XVI, during his regular Wednesday general audience, gave a catechesis on Pope Saint Pius X. This is an English translation of that teaching. Dear brothers and sisters, today I would like to reflect on my predecessor, Saint Pius X, whose liturgical memorial we celebrate on the 21st of August, and to underline certain features that may be useful to both pastors and faithful also in our time. Giuseppe Sardo, for that was his name, was born into a peasant family in Riese, Treviso in 1835. After studying at the seminary in Padua, he was ordained a priest when he was 23 years old. He was first curate in Tombolo, then parish priest in Salzano, and then canon of the Cathedral of Treviso with the offices of Episcopal Chancellor and Spiritual Director of the Diocesan Seminary. In these years of rich and generous pastoral experience, the future pontiff showed that deep love for Christ and for the Church, that humility and simplicity and great charity to the needy which characterized his entire life. In 1884, he was appointed Bishop of Mantua, and in 1893, Patriarch of Venice. On 4th of August, 1903, he was elected Pope, a ministry he hesitated to accept since he did not consider himself worthy of such a lofty office. Pius X's pontificate left an indelible mark on the Church's history and was distinguished by a considerable effort for reform that is summed up in his motto, "To renew all things in Christ." Indeed, his interventions involved various ecclesial contexts. From the outset, he devoted himself to reorganizing the Roman Curia. He then began work on the Code of Canon Law, which was promulgated by his successor, Benedict XV. He later promoted the revision of the studies and formation program of future priests and founded various regional seminaries, equipped with good libraries and well-qualified teachers. Another important sector was that of the doctrinal formation of the people of God. Beginning in his years as parish priest, he himself had compiled a catechism, and during his episcopate in Mantua, he worked to produce a single, if not universal, catechism, at least in Italian. As an authentic pastor, he had understood that the situation in that period, due partly to the phenomenon of emigration, made necessary a catechism to which every member of the faithful might refer, independently of the place in which he lived and of his position. As pontiff, he compiled a text of Christian doctrine for the Diocese of Rome that was later disseminated throughout Italy and the world. Because of its simple, clear, precise language and effective explanation, this Pius X Catechism, as it was called, was a reliable guide to many in learning the truths of the faith. Pius X paid considerable attention to the reform of the liturgy, and in particular of sacred music, in order to lead the faithful to a life of more profound prayer and fuller participation in the sacraments. In the motu proprio Tra le Sollecitudini in 1903, the first year of his pontificate, he said that the true Christian spirit has its first and indispensable source in active participation in the sacrosanct mysteries and in the public and solemn prayer of the Church. For this reason, he recommended that the sacraments be received often, encouraging the daily reception of Holy Communion, and appropriately lowering the age when children receive their first communion to about 7, the age when a child begins to reason. Faithful to the task of strengthening his brethren in the faith, in confronting certain trends that were manifest in the theological context of the end of the 19th and the beginning of the 20th centuries, Pius X intervened decisively, condemning modernism to protect the faithful from erroneous concepts and to foster a scientific examination of the revelation consonant with the traditions of the Church. On 7th of May, 1909, with his apostolic letter Veniae Electa, he founded the Pontifical Biblical Institute. The last months of his life were overshadowed by the impending war. His appeal to Catholics of the world, launched on the 2nd of August 1914 to express the bitter pain of the present hour, was the anguished plea of a father who sees his children taking sides against each other. He died shortly afterwards, on the 20th of August, and the fame of His Holiness immediately began to spread among the Christian people. Dear brothers and sisters, St. Pius X teaches all of us that at the root of our apostolic action in the various fields in which we work, there must always be close personal union with Christ, to cultivate and to develop day after day. This is the essence of all his teaching, of all his pastoral commitment. Only if we are in love with the Lord shall we be able to bring people to God and open them to His merciful love, and thereby open the world to God's mercy. That was Pope Benedict XVI on the 18th of August in 2010, speaking on Pope Saint Pius X.